Things are starting to heat up between Jang Uk and Naksu again. What's interesting about this dynamic is that it's the polar opposite of part 1. Jang Uk fell in love with Naksu in Buyeon's body, and now he must fall in love all over again with Naksu in Naksu's body. During the unanimous assembly, several objections are made over their apparent marriage to each other. Jang Uk uses his exceptional power as a display and challenges anyone to keep him from taking Buyeon. To avoid any conflict, Naksu expresses that she is with child. During the course of the assembly, Jin Mu realizes that while Buyeon looks like Naksu, the real shadow assassin that he had brought up was never as dainty and fragile, owing to the detail that, narratively, that is Buyeon's body with Naksu's features. Still, he continues his nefarious deeds like a rat as he plans to distract and separate Jang Uk from Buyeon by summoning the soul of Naksu using soul incense. He continues to scheme with the queen and go on in order to bring Jin Mu into the royal palace.
And then Naksu remembers. The memories continue to flood her mind and she continues to experience things that are familiar to her, the biggest catalyst being the blue jade. Upon searching for Jang Uk, she is told of the stone tower graves Jang Uk makes for the soul shifters he slays. She stumbles upon the tower grave Jang Uk made for Naksu, and the blue jade reveals itself to her. She touches it, and the memory of the yin-yang jade returns to her. More of her energy returns, causing Jang Uk to be drawn to that jade. Upon her revelation, Jang Uk gaslights Buyeon into believing that it is not her memory, and she is experiencing the memory of his Naksu. Despite their squabble and Jang Uk's apparent callous nature towards Buyeon, they seem to be getting closer and closer as he lights her dark path out of the forest and begins to show her affection, shocking even himself. The triangle continues as Go-won finally encounters Buyeon in the market. She mistakes him for a eunuch and scolds him into buying a turtle. Go-won reluctantly buys the turtle and boasts about it to his own eunuch.
I like turtles.
His encounters with Naksu-yeon continue as he expressed yet again the frustration of falling for someone he can't have.
It all comes down to the queen's banquet that is meant to draw out the false Naksu and to assassinate Buyeon, further dividing Jang Uk from Jin Mu. However, Jang Uk was prepared. With the help of Jin Ho-kyung, a guiso is employed to create a fake Buyeon, causing the soul shifter to assassinate a puppet. Jang Uk chases the soul shifter down, seemingly putting an end to the rumors. But there is more behind the scenes going on. How long will Naksu continue to believe these memories are not hers? And how long will Jang Uk blind himself to the realities that surround him? Well, the kiss at the end may signal a turning point, but we all know in episode 5 he's going to realize what he's doing and scold Naksu-yeon because he was drunk. Get yourself together, Jang Uk.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Alchemy of Souls video.
Frustrating?
It's frustrating because they have already fallen in love with each other, and this kind of like circle jerk with her being the actual Naksu, although in Buyeon's body. The memories that she is recounting should be having more of an effect. I mean, it has an effect on him, but it should have more of an effect. But he seems to be blinding himself to what's going on.
Well, as we all know with how these K-dramas work, right? There's gonna be misunderstanding upon misunderstanding until there is an understanding, and that probably won't be until later, because even though she's holding the jade pendant, they're putting all of those memories from an object versus her own memories coming to light. And so I guess it's going to be like that. It's going to be back and forth for another couple of episodes of more misunderstandings, and it is a little bit frustrating, but bear with me for a second here, because from their perspective, Jang Uk is still mourning the death of Mudok, or Naksu. So he's obviously going to put like this wall in front of him that might prevent him from falling in love again. And then of course Buyeon is just like, has no idea what the hell is going on. So we have to look at it from their perspectives. They both know nothing right now.
Now let's look at it from the perspective of us.
Yes, it's frustrating.
Where Naksu is clearly Naksu. Like, even though it's a different body, she's doing such a great job of exemplifying or demonstrating that she's Naksu.
Yeah.
Like every little like nuance that she does, there's facial expressions, how she interacts with Jang Uk reminds me so much of everything that Jung So-min did as Mudok.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro.
Speaking of Jung So-min, we got her first appearance in season 2.
Exactly. You know, I think in the first episode of these two, you know, they kind of cut off at the head a little bit, and they were teasing, and then they showed finally you know, glimpses of Jung So-min back in part 1.
She was kind of like blurred out a little bit as he was having like sort of like he was confused between Modok and Buyeon at that moment, and it turned to Buyeon, gives him a hug, and I think that's why when he wakes up, like we said, he's gonna be like, he's gonna get up and was like, what did I do?
Or what did you do, Buyeon? He's gonna blame her and gaslight her again. So what is the queen doing. She's obsessed with this ugly vessel that she's in, that she's forced to stay in, and she's trying to like absorb powers or energy from younger youths.
Yeah, I don't think the villains changed from part one. It's still the queen.
It's still the
Even
queen.
though it's a different soul, it's still the same scheming, politicking queen, and she just can't stand this body that she's in, so she's absorbing power from this makeup powder that she's soliciting from like all over the court ladies in the palace, and she's also in cahoots with Jin Mu. Like, what do you know? And then the thing that I really do appreciate is that Go-won is a little bit smarter this time. Like, I think he's kind of just like agreeing with Jin Mu at this moment, just so that, and he knows deep down inside, it's like, dude, this guy is
I feel like
bad,
every
bad.
time they talk to each other, he's just kind of like going with
Collecting
emotions.
info, yeah.
And collecting info. So every time Jin Mu says something, he's just like, okay, yeah, that's what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
All the while, going into the market and falling in love yet again with Buyeon.
I know.
Over the
That's
turtle.
what we said. Everybody's gonna
Hey.
fall in love with Naksu.
Turtle, extend your neck. See? It listens to
Yeah.
me. What's nefarious about Jin Mu here is that he's taking advantage of the queen's agenda, because the queen doesn't actually like align with Jin Mu, right? It's just this kind of vanity, right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
getting to her, and then Jin Mu is like, hey, maybe you can use Jin Yo-won to absorb this energy, right? And so
Right.
he's using the agenda of the queen and his own agenda to separate Jang Uk from Buyeon, so that Jin Yo-won gets into the royal palace, and then they have control over the artifacts.
I'm also wondering if there's going to be more action in this season too, because I feel like, and I have a feeling this is going to be more about romance between Naksu
It's feeling like that.
and Jang Uk, and it's going to be kind of a slow trot until I guess Jin Mu makes another stupid move again or something like that, or the water demon people that we saw in the first couple episodes resurface. Something has to
Hey.
like happen.
I mean, with Master Lee going around and investigating some wells that have
he
dried
found that
up,
like red artifact
right?
in the well.
So that's either another villain or that's part of the water demons
who's
that
doing
were.
that?
We don't know. But that's another thing that's happening behind the scenes, and we'll have to see if like that is like another big bad that's on the that's like waiting in the wings to come out and be like, I'm after the ice stone.
Oh,
again.
it's me.
And then as the rumors spread, Soyul has to figure out who is spreading these rumors, and he finds out to Soyi. But he also finds out, and he has known for a while, that Soyi is sending him medicine for this mystery illness that ails him, and he hasn't been taking it.
Yeah.
And Buyeon is like, your energy looks sick.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
should be treating
Yeah,
it.
it's that parasite that Soyi transferred over to him in part one. It hasn't killed him yet, and we don't know. Like, it might be just one of Jin Mu's tricks. Like, this parasite's gonna kill you unless you take this medicine. But lo and behold, Soyul hasn't been taking the medicine. It's been 3 years. I think that's a faux pas kind of parasite.
Or
there.
like a placebo almost.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
it
something.
could be an empty threat.
It's something that's in there, but then I think there's nothing to it.
That
If
it's
anything,
like he's
if
sick
anything,
and
it's
stuff.
making him a more likable character. He's not so stiff anymore.
Park Jin.
Park Jin and Maid Sermon Kim, man. Like, we need like at least 5 minutes of joy from those two.
I mean, listen, even though he is making others suffer for his kind of travails in the kitchen and trying to come up with new things, I do like the lesson that he has with Donggu,
Yes.
Yul,
The rice
and Jang-uk.
cakes.
The rice cakes, they're all honey, but he tells them like mentally, one of them is fish sauce. So so obviously you're poisoning the well, as they say in debates, and you're making them fear their choice because of something that may be there.
Right.
So but the whole lesson was like you can't know until you bite it. So just make your choice, right?
Just dive in, carpe diem. That's
Yeah.
that's the moral of, I guess, that episode.
And then we go on to the preview, and as if to answer your question about whether or not there's going to be action, it looks like Soyul is fighting a group of mages. We don't know what's happening there. It seems like his sickness is starting to take hold, and we see some like blood and stuff, and it looks like it's almost time for him.
Oh, maybe it's something to do with him getting closer to Jin Mu. I'm sure Soyi's going to reveal to him who's behind this parasite, and so he might be on his one-man mission to solve this mystery.
Yeah.
But he might actually, the sickness might actually be starting to penetrate and kill him.
Yeah, and then of course we have Go-won, who is, as you said,
I'm cheering for
smarter
Go-won,
and
man.
smarter
Yep,
as we
yep,
go
yep, yep,
on.
let's
He's
go.
trying to stop Jin Mu, and he's like, hey, if you wanna stop me, reveal everything to Jang Uk, and he
Yeah.
looks like he's just getting
The
really
audacity of this guy. He just like gets away with the dumbest things all the time.
Yeah,
he
I
like
don't
says
know.
the queen is like, then Buyeon will be dead and the rest of the Jin Yu will be yours.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, if you say something to the crown prince, like can't like go and be like, yo, this guy is nefarious.
Well, he does still have that secret society that's still kind of lurking around in the shadows.
Not the Guanju.
It was like, you know, this kind of underground meeting place that they all came.
Yeah, still has that. And then of course the final frame of the preview. What we're thinking is another quote that Mudok has said to Jang Uk, which is, "I will stay by your side by this distance or by this far." It does sound like how she was proclaiming that, like, you know, one of them would be destined to die at least like really early on in the part one.
Yep.
And she was telling him, "I will be by your side, but just like this close. We can't really be."
I think slowly but surely he's going to start to realize that some of these quirks and phrases that Buyeon is saying to him are very similar to what Mudok was saying to him, and so he's just gonna like quickly start to kind of realize and like be swept under her charm and her like Mudokness.
Yeah, I mean, right now at this very moment they're rationalizing this by, oh, she can see the memories within objects, but when she starts remembering things with zero catalyst, zero object, and it's just her recalling things, you gotta start accepting.
Now the one thing,
it's her memories.
The one thing here is like, do you think when she wakes up she'll have the shadow assassin skills as well as Buyeon's divine powers, or will it be one or the other?
No, I don't think so. I think because the body is Buyeon's, and the way that Master Lee said that he was saving the body, he was using Naksu's energy, but the body and the blood is Buyeon's, and so the powers that would come back would be the divine powers.
I see. But then the trade-off is that it looks like Naksu.
Yeah, and in the case of part one, you know, it was Buyeon's body, but Naksu's soul from the Alchemy of Souls, or the soul shifting. So when she was getting her energy back, she was, you know, back to being Naksu. But in this case, it's going to be Buyeon's powers. So eventually, I think Jang Uk is going to have to fall in love with Naksu all over again. But this time, the real Naksu's face. And there's going to be a reckoning there, of course, with Soyeol, because that's the Naksu he remembers as well.
Yeah, I think...
Remember, she said something to him in the...
She did, and he was
streets.
like, oh, what? It was like, it was something about eggs and birds.
No, it was his favorite snack, and it was that pollen tea. And he was like, I remember this conversation before. Oh, we'll have to see what the next two episodes bring us. The part two definitely has its own charms and its own cliffhangers to grasp onto, and I'm still very much, you know, dying to know what
I can't
happens.
wait to see what the next couple of episodes is. In that case, that is it for us, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you know when we post new videos. And once again, this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you next time.